They don't judge you. They don't care if you come inside and wind up on them white girls. No security in coming and watch you. The only thing they will come and tell you is, my boy, I can't smoke weed there. It was designed for the med students and whoever to take time to class. Then after came Ivan, and them time all them students back and them time to make. They like when we come and support them in future. Me too. I get come to on one and one time I went to class. Huh? Yeah. I've never. Even Bobby's a chameleon. Today, Bobby, you and Bobby go and then Bobby is a chameleon. Yeah. Yeah, you have to predict that.
All right, give me a countdown. All right.
Ready.
All right, a pleasant good afternoon, one and all. I'm your host, Colin Campbell, and today's another episode of Gender Biased. We're at location at the Tricentennial Park overlooking the beautiful Carnage. And today, we really want to talk about our carnival product and where we'd like to see it going. Now, we have our usual guests with the inclusion of, I'm seeing a new face. We have Juice. Two new faces, actually. We'll give them the opportunity to introduce themselves.
There's a juice too.
Women first.
Two juice.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Janelle Agustin, also known as Miss Juice on Facebook. Most people know me by,
Really?
by Miss Juice. I am a teacher by profession, and a masquerader in society, I should say. A pleasant good evening, all.
Yeah.
All right, Juice, any relations? No relations?
No, listen. The first time, to be honest, when I saw the person send me a friend request on Facebook, I was like, my wife sent me a friend request. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay.
Miss Juice.
No?
Like wife to be maybe.
So my name is Kellan Brockwith, affectionately known as Juice the Voice. I'm a soca artist / chef / bartender here on the island of Grenada. People call me the chef tender. Right? It's a pleasure to be here.
All right.
Hello again, everyone. Well, my name is Paola, and I'm a local dancer here, a dance teacher and artist.
Well, Eddie, I don't think I need to introduce you. Maybe we need to introduce the bartender. The reintroduction.
Well, I don't think I need any introduction because I'm wearing a lot of hats. I'm standby host. I'm contributor. All of the above.
All of the above.
And Mr. Controversial. So at the end of the day, everybody know me. Eddie, same old. Patriot. In this case, I'm a patriot because I always want what best for Grenada and we talking carnival. So today, patriot.
Okay. Well, I'm probably the youngest one here, but I'm sure you would like to introduce yourself because you're always camera shy, but
But I think I'm younger than you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jolene Greenwich, and I'm your bartender for today. And I'm happy to be on another episode of Gender Bias.
Yeah.
all right. So I think we could get straight into our conversation. But before we get into the meat of the matter, I would like to get a sense from those who have experienced the traditional carnival. What was the experience like? We'll pass it off to her too.
Yeah, well, ladies
always first on gender bias.
And, yeah, and yes. And when we say, but just not to be nosy, but when we say traditional, are we speaking of carnival of old, what we grew up with?
Yes, what we grew up with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my experience of carnival before is quite different from now. We can talk about the music, we can talk about the costuming, we can talk about all of that. But I'm gonna start generally. No, for me, carnival before we had the bands. We had all of the bands. We had the jab. I remember, like in my community of Guelph, when jab practicing, you can have children around. Jab was a very serious thing. You have your posy, and when you're practicing, you have your song you're singing. You have your little Bible that you're reading, and you have, the jab Bible, they call that.
Right.
And when they're practicing, they would go around in the villages. Sometimes they practice in the evening times. So children had to peep. Jab wasn't a children thing. You had to peep when you see jab coming, and people used to be very afraid of the jab.
Yep.
People used to be very afraid of the jab. Compared to now, we see children from 2 years, everybody in the jab band. No. So compared to now in terms of the jab, it's different. The wild Indian as well. We used to have practicing. There's a gentleman by the name of Kebo Sam, rest in peace. He used to have those sort of things. And you have to go to practice. It's not just you get up and, you come and play today for tomorrow and they call you for practice and you're not coming. No, it was very serious. You had to come practicing to be in the band. And they had their little chance that they do. It's not just get up today and you jump in the band tomorrow and all little children here and there just coming in. No. The culture was there and you had to practice. When you come in the band, you know what you're about. You're not looking around. And it had meaning back then. They would have the little classes, let you know this is what it is from inception, and you come up knowing what the job is about, what the wild Indian is about. It's not just you jumping in thing now and you get the oil and you're there and it was not that back then at all. So I'm going to take it from that.
From that side. Okay. Strange enough. So my dad was born in 1924, so he's old enough to understand the genesis of this. Yeah. And he said to me that you had to be initiated into the jab, and you can't just join a jab band just like
It was
that.
like the lodge there.
Because there are rules and there's principles, and if you don't understand the foundational essence of it, then. Yeah. But Eddie, just to bring you in here, to get your perspective, but I also want you to tackle the issue raised by her. Now, while I understand what she's saying, you can argue that because we didn't include the younger generation, they have a misconstrued concept of what that tradition is. I want to get your take on that while you speak about your experience.
Well, I want to start off by saying this. I totally agree with what Ms. Juice has said because as a child growing up, I remember I was scared of jab. The jab I knew I was scared. One time you hear a chain drag or a conch shell blow or a bucket or a drum beat, you tell yourself, boy, look for a safe corner. It was very terrifying, right? And whereas she may say, okay, yes, literature wasn't involved in jab. I still think that young people was included, including in being able to observe. Observe from the standpoint of when you see that costume come out, which is a jab jab, which was a serious thing, whether there's the horns and the snake and the whatever it is, you know is fascinated by that. And you try to, you're so intrigued, you want to find out about it. So you can't wait to get to that point when you can participate, right? So that is part of the education where children are concerned. And I can't speak to that of the Wild Indian, right? And I'm happy that she even called out names because there's so many people along the way that has been the stalwarts that has carried these art forms. And sometimes you feel as though, it's like our focus have shift, but don't want to jump the gun, right? But whether it is the vehicle, one of the masks that I love as traditional masks is vehicle. I don't know, something about vehicle to me calls to me when I see it. Right? I don't know if it's the clogs. I don't know if it is. And even now is one of them that have even evolved really nicely. They have new better outfits now and style and everything. But as I said, I know what you're talking about, the nostalgia of the old time carnival. One of the things I don't want us to miss in all of this, part of when we talk about the traditional carnival, that I think sometimes not a lot of emphasis is played on, is what we call and grew up called old mass. I could remember this man. I worked for people who don't know. I worked in Cape and Wallace, Grenada, as who people knew it back then, right? And then and there was this gentleman named Mr. Evelyn Ross. And this man came out religiously every year with the most humorous old mask costumes. I remember one vividly that he came out with this costume. I remember it on the middle of town in front of KFC. This man come there and he take this bird out of his pants and throw it up in the air, and the bird fall along. There was a pigeon, and next thing you know, there's a whole funeral ceremony because he bird dead. You understand? And these are the things and the memories that I have of all of what carnival used to be, because as much as people who don't know as well, I used to play pan. Used to play pan as much as I used to play pan, and so I always enjoy the old mass and I always enjoy the jab jab and all the different elements of carnival. I appreciate all elements of carnival. I could go on and on when it comes to carnival. So let me just, let me give way so other persons could come in.
I think I'll bring you in on the conversation.
Yes. Okay. So I have always been a spectator.
You're conservative. I sense that.
You sense that?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I never the way we grew up, it was always to bring us out to see the mass.
Yeah.
So at no point have I ever thought of going to be a part of it at all.
Yeah.
So we always came out. I think a couple of times we did the kiddies carnival.
Probably.
But I think it was mostly the Monday afternoon, and the pageant. I don't even know if they still have that.
Yeah,
Because
still
it's
have
been
it,
so
yeah.
so long. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have still been to the pretty mass, because we used to go to the pretty mass all the time.
Yeah.
I remember my dad and my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
in particular. She used to love that. She
Right.
used to love that. She's 101 years old right now,
Wow.
and it was only a couple of years ago that we actually had to stop her from going. We had to
Wow.
say, please don't go anymore.
I think I know you're talking about it.
And so I have very fond memories. I love the costumes,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't ever remember being afraid of jab, but I just thought it was okay, interesting, weird. But the one that for me that's in my heart is the short knee. I am fascinated with them. I love how animated they are. I love their colors. I love the sound of their bells. Even as an artist, I draw them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated with them and their chants. I love them. Yeah. So I have very fond memories of the traditional carnival.
All right. I think Juice. I don't want to guess your age, but I think you could put a more modern spin on your experience. Cause sure you're born in late 80s. Yeah, no,
80s.
80s. All right, so bring it up, bring it forward.
Well, so for me, my experience started at a young age. Well, I was actually born in Trinidad, right? And I came to Grenada at the age of 3. And I can remember back in Trinidad, like as a youth, as a little child, my mom brought me to the festival once, and I remember, seeing the floats. Like back in Trinidad, they had a lot of floats, like Mickey Mouse and all them kind of things during the carnival. Coming to Grenada, it was a little different. So, and it's ironic that Fiola said she liked the shot,
Mhm.
because my one of my fondest memories of carnival, when I was living in Fontenoy, the shotney from Victoria. These people had a lot of stamina. They used to jump from Victoria, come down,
Come now. Yep.
town, right? And they used to stop at my house every time they jump in, and the smell of the baby powder
Yeah.
and the sound of the chimes on their feet, it stayed with me. So I always told my mom, I say, I want to be a shortney. She said, not in my house, because we were church people.
Mm.
So I grew up in a Christian home. So mother was like, when you get older and want to play shortney, you can go and play shortney if you want. So for me, I was always intrigued by mass. The jab, my first experience with jab was I was about 7 or 8. My mom decided, okay, go with your aunt. One Juve morning, my aunt, we came down and we stood by shipwreck. I could never forget the first time seeing the man that I always heard on the radio, Lou Smith,
Mm.
with a posy with horns in her underpants. And I was like, I want to play jab, boy. you know?
The legendary Lou Smith.
Yeah, Lou Smith.
Okay.
Lou Smith was one of the bacchanalists. He was one of the people who really enjoy the culture. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So anybody who knows jab, like I grew up. I always say I grew up in the last niceness in St. George's, right? For in the early '90s, because I came to Grenada in '89, right? And I remember seeing the jab coming down Market Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember coming to town at 2 in the morning.
Of the last of the good days.
And it was like, for me, when I would say come down in town 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I was like, what? Jab has been down since 2 o'clock in the morning. I know. So to me, my memories was very fond of the traditional mask. I was afraid of it. Yeah, they look very scary, right?
Mhm.
No, I understand a bit. So I actually appreciate the portrayals. So I love the mask, and I love the traditional aspect of it, and I think that we should be doing more to preserve it. Um, when it comes to the youths, we should be doing more to actually tell the stories. Growing up, I remember we had storytellers. Like right now, we don't have the storytellers. We have people like Ricardo Kings Douglas.
Those are
and,
custodians of the culture.
yeah.
Custodians of the culture.
Yeah.
They used to have people telling the stories of where we come from. That's how I learned about the Laja Bless. That's how I learned about the Ligaru and them kind of things. So listen to these people. So what are we doing with the history and the culture?
Mm. You know, I like this point that you just made, and I think this is a good opportunity now just to segue into just giving our sponsors the due recognition. Um, I said one of our sponsors that we can do without is Classic Lighting Caribbean. Definitely should check them out to get your solar generators, your lights, with security cameras, etc. We also like to recognize the Dean's Mattress. And we also like to recognize as well extraterrestrial Monday Night Mass. Now, we will talk a little bit about that concept later on in the program. And Juice, just I want to give you the opportunity to tell me about your business, just a little bit about your business, Chef Tender Eats.
So thanks for the opportunity. Chef Tender Eats, it's a passion of mine that I decided to turn into a business. I am a mixologist and also a self-taught chef. A lot of the ideas that I tried to implement while working for people, they were shut down. So I decided I have a mantra: don't prove them wrong, prove yourself right. So I decided to take a lot of the ideas that I had and try to put them into practice on my own to see if they would work. And I'm here today.
All right, perfect.
As I say, the rest is history.
The rest is history. Everybody, glasses is charged?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we just want to recognize our bartender. You're working very hard and we appreciate you.
Yeah, no, the bartender as referred to as the beautiful, the good-looking bartender.
So just moving the conversation along, now that we have, the panel has shared their experience with Carnival, I must say, for the past 15 years, all I've been doing was just covering Carnival, right? So I've never played Juve because I never had the opportunity to. So I'm hoping that one day
That's sad. That's very sad.
That's but I've been in the activities, but I've been covering it. There's a difference.
So your perspective is from a media personality.
Media standpoint. I'm always interviewing. I'm always interviewing. Going around getting the bands. One of the bands that I do like, and just let's single out just the Jab for a second. And his name just keeps escaping me, but he's one of the more popular ones that be on the posters. No, Slum, he's one of them. But there's another.
Foresight.
Is he the big?
Oh no, you're talking about Tito. Tito.
That's one who has no rhythm at all.
No, but here's the thing though. But he's deliberate. It's deliberate.
It's not.
I don't think.
Wait, hold on.
I don't think he
It's
has
not.
rhythm at all.
It's not deliberate. Listen to me.
Let me hear.
Tito, the first time I saw Tito dance, I thought Tito was imitating Caucasians dancing. Until I realized every time I went somewhere, that's how Tito was dancing. I realized Tito really, that gene, the rhythm gene, skip him.
Yes.
He just out to sing.
Me
But one thing I tell you, he does make up for it in spirit.
In spirit, no.
In
I had to
spirit.
defend Tito.
Yeah.
Look, Tito. If you're listening, just know that I was on your side. All right. And the point that I was making is that I love the fact that you keep the job discipline when playing the mass.
Yeah. But he's a good poster child for the job.
And I said he should be compensated for the use of his image.
I call him the job president.
The job president. Why?
To me, him and Cyprian, they are the poster child for job.
But I remember Cyprian is a byproduct of people like Glenn Forsyth.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Glenn has been there as a diehard lover of Jab.
And Colin Dow.
You understand?
The Dow.
Yeah, the Dows, the whatever it is.
Yes,
yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. So Cyprian is a byproduct of Glenn Forsyth, and you can't call Cyprian name without calling out Glenn name. You understand? Because you see, all the brothers, all the Forsyth brothers, the Adrian, all of them, they love the yeah. Oh, you was sleeping class?
We sit and
Sleeping.
Well, if the teacher bored, we might sleep. You know what I mean? But
Right.
But I think now is an opportunity for us to look at our present Carnival product. And a bit of critique is needed. Not criticizing, critique. There's a difference. Who should I start with? Who's more controversial here? Outside of Eddie. I want to get your views on I want to get your views on the present state of Carnival, because you seem to notice something that is
The
happening.
original masquerade.
The original masquerade. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about,
All right, the present state of mass.
present state of mass.
Right. So
Yes.
we're going to start
Carnival,
with the present state of carnival.
Yes.
But I want to start with the fancy mask this
Oh
time.
boy. Oh Lord.
We're going to start with it because I am an original player of fancy mask. And don't try to guess my age. Yes. I am an original player of fancy mask. Eddie could tell you that
I'm doing the
from
maths now.
way
Hold on, I'm doing the maths now.
back.
Hold on, I'll calculate and get
Do
back
the
to you.
maths. We'll get back to you in a while. Right? So, in my time of playing fancy mask, the costumes that we have now was nowhere near what we had before. Before, we only had 3 types of costumes. You had the top and the bottom bathing suits,
The two-piece.
the two-piece, the bikini. We had the whole suit, and then we had the boy shorts and the top. That was the 3 basic parts of the fancy mask from before. That's when I used to play mask. Right? That's what we had before. However, now I don't know how to call the costumes now. And don't get me wrong. Every section of that mask, he have the people.
Yeah.
Right? The generation now may enjoy that. But for me, as a traditional person, a long time person, I should say, our product now that we are advertising, it may appeal to the younger people, which is not bad. Right? But sometimes I think that it is excessive, I should say, in terms of body coverage, classiness. We could play mass and play classy,
Yeah.
We don't always have to expose everything, and that is just my take on it.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Right. You could come in there, Juice. Come in right there.
Because I have known a few designers. I'm not going to call a name, right? But
Right.
I know a few designers of costumes. And what I understand is that most of these sections in the bands, they do have full body suits. They do have the same style of costumes, but in a covered version. And even the ladies in the plus size don't want them.
No, that was a genuine.
You
So-
know,
But we
so
see that. We
so
see that.
so it's like, okay, it's not to say that the options aren't there,
Right.
but people want what they want. And if as a business person, if that is what the people want, that is what they're going to design. I understand that there are people who really are put off by the skimpiness of the costumes. For me, I always say, if that's what the ladies like to put themselves in, and that's because of my understanding of what is going on
Right.
with the part where there is the full covered costumes that you can choose. The ladies don't want to go in them.
But what do you think is causing people to
So-
gravitate
So
towards
I feel-
skimpiness rather than
I feel
I think the ladies are young, so they have a body, so they want to put it out.
But as he
I
said,
guess
We teach freedom.
we had our time.
We teach freedom. We teach freedom. We teach. Oh, I'll get one of them guys inside it. We teach freedom, and we teach carnival as a time to let go of your inhibitions and all those kind of things.
so
But
go ahead.
I'll bring you in because I know where you want to go with this. My thing is, and we started this conversation off camera, so I want to bring it back on. My thing is, could we have the conversation of the preservation of our culture and the commercialization in the same sentence? This is what I'm trying to get at. And when I say commercialization, obviously we want to sell our product and we want to capitalize on our product, obviously. But when I talk about the commercialization, I'm meaning with the straying away or the copying of another culture outside of our culture, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to get
Yeah.
at.
So In this conversation I wear multiple hats here because for people who don't know, I don't know, people might hear the term no party bands or non-traditional bands, right? Um, Samaku, I think, was the first band to start what we call it, what the modern day term as party bands, right? I was the second person to gravitate towards that, and it was because that we wanted to offer a product which was not as rigid as what we know as the traditional masquerading in terms of fancy mask. Because in fancy mask we have persons, you know, as you will see, in getting your section, right? You had to get in your section. Some people may have different choreographies, and so when they're going in their bands, right? And that was something that I did not prescribe to. Right, I figure, okay, if I spend money to enjoy myself on the road, I want nobody to me get in a section right. So I decided I wanted to, so I got into mass, right? And I'm starting from here because I want people to understand the genesis of what we know is now calling a problem, right? So we have started off of offering somebody something different from what they want. And I think and it's not, I don't know if it might be a good time to point out a problem. But I think what happened to people who wanted something different, like myself, who wanted to bring mass to offer a different product, what we recognize is that you could not find persons locally here in Grenada that was not affiliated with an organization, a mass organization, whether it's the St. Paul's and Associates or the Helen Marie or the Andre Garvey. So if you wanted to get into the business of mass, you had to look elsewhere for designers, right? And I'm saying to you that really and truly, that is the genesis of this thing that we know say it's a serious problem.
So you're saying that is where the foreign designers came in,
Exactly. Exactly.
started the change.
Exactly. Right.
Okay, then I get it.
So I gave that backdrop because it may be a shortcoming on our structure, as whether it is a mass band association or whether it's the but them time the SMC would not have been in existence, but whether it was a carnival committee or whatever it is, or the mass band association, there wasn't enough done to make sure that costume designing was something that people could have been taught. Everybody was holding their cards close to their chest. You understand? Okay. So you had no choice but to go outside and find a designer and whatever the case may be. So that people may say that opened Pandora's box, because now people came in through designers came in and just whereas may have started as just designing costumes. Some of them come and say, but wait now, Grenada Carnival, this is a very, very green carnival that that has so much a scope for development, right? And now when you talk of commercialization of the carnival, is that we have, so take what I did, the backdrop I just give you there. With now younger people coming into the fray now, right? And their objective is making a profit. To put it simple, easy and simple.
Yeah.
They do not care about the genesis of carnival, the historical value. All they think about whether it's eating a food.
Right.
To put it in local, well, I wouldn't say local parlance, but that is the local terms, right? And there's a lot of outside money in Grenada Carnival right now. That is my biggest problem. There's a lot of money. I don't think a lot of the money that is generated from our product, that is Carnival, stays in Grenada. Too much of it leaves, right? And as our premier, I see Carnival as our premier musical and cultural festival. And I just think it is somewhat, so in a way I have to take some responsibility, because I was one of the people that had to go to Grenada to get a designer, right? But I still would not take the responsibility for the state of things, because there should be structures in place. There should be fail safes. There should be things that prioritize securing what we deem as our culture and preserve it. I always, and not to just go off the rails, but I always make this analogy that, watch, as bad a culture, or I shouldn't say culture, or a history of some countries, and not calling out any particular country, have, they still celebrate it. Too often we try to either take our culture, shy away from it,
Yes.
whatever it is. You have to embrace what is yours.
Right.
You understand? For good or bad, not everybody would agree with it, but I think we have done a disservice to in the preservation of our culture, right? And as I say, it's just to have certain guardrails in place to
Right.
make sure, right? Even putting things in place so that you could have young designers and so on. This is a lucrative business, and I don't want to call out any country or particular country, but the reality is that just too much of our monies is leaving Grenada's carnival and going elsewhere.
And I will not mention a country because I know exactly which country you're referring to. But in that particular country, they preserve their traditional aspects of their culture while still having the Brazilian looking.
Yeah.
I think school wise, I think there should be a subject called cultural science.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should have something called cultural science, which deals with with all aspects of culture and not just Grenadian culture, but the diasporic culture, to show how each of us we tie into each other as a people. You know what I mean? From the inception of the countries of the civilization in this part of the world,
Right.
so we can understand ourselves, how we fit into the world with all the other cultures. You
Okay.
know what I mean? I think it's vital because something he said, that the young designers coming into the culture, not knowing, right, where it starts or not caring about it, and something popped into my head. This guy, he was giving a speech and he was talking about his wife when they do a pork roast. They always cut off the end, put it in the oven,
I remember that.
and he was like, "Babe, why you do that?" She said, "I don't know. My mom always
used to
does
do
it."
it,
She called the mom. The mom said, "Well, I don't know. My mom always does it." And then the grandmom was like, "When I was young, we had small ovens, and it was too big to fit in the oven, so we always cut off the end."
Yeah.
Mm.
And became
So-
part of the tradition.
So we have traditions that people have no idea of where it started.
Right.
So that's why I will go back to the point and say we need to start back our storytelling.
That's a good segue into a next question that I have. And I'll come back to you. I want you to remember that pointer because I'm going to come back to you on that one. I would like to bring in my sister in here. As a mother.
Yeah.
It's conservative.
Miss Conservative. We always have to get a conservative perspective. I would like to get from you. So, for instance, he spoke about knowing the history and the culture behind it. It's just not about the jump and wave and the spectacle, but there's a story behind why we do what we do. One of the things that I'm really embarrassed about is how we treat Emancipation Day. Now, I can literally count the amount of people in Emancipation Day, on Emancipation Day, taking part in the activities. I can literally count it, right? And to me,
Hold on, you're talking about Beach Fest Monday?
but that is my hold on. Hold on. We get into that. That is my point. So you see, I know you'll get it. I know that you would get my point. That's exactly what I want to say. But if you go to those other feds, they're
Yes.
I want to get your take on it because to me that's an embarrassment. Because without Emancipation Day, we would not have Carnival.
Carnival is supposed to be the spin-off of it's a part of the
byproduct of it,
celebration.
yes.
It's a byproduct of it. So I want to get
You
your
know?
perspective. And as a mother,
Yeah.
are you concerned?
Okay, right. So Emancipation Day, I would turn up as well. And actually I would perform at Emancipation Day as a dancer. And I enjoy that. I really enjoy that traditional aspect of our celebration of our culture. It's sad that we have competing events. I do not understand how, if we prioritize, keeping up with our traditions. I know that some things have to change. I understand that, but there are certain things that we can celebrate. So why have a competing event on that day? And then also sometimes you just hear about it. Just there is very little promotion. Where you hear for the other event, it's so much promotion, and they don't just do it with Emancipation Day. They do it with other carnival events as well, where you have competing events, and I think that that's a regrettable thing that
Yeah.
we continue to do. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Okay, so as a mother now, and talking about you see the costumes. I'm in two minds about it.
Wow.
I'm in two minds. No,
That's a bit misconservative. Yeah.
I'm even surprised. I'm interested to hear that you see me as conservative, but
Yeah.
that's fine. So maybe
Yeah.
sometimes I am.
Yeah.
I'm in two minds about it. I'm kind of conflicted on it because Carnival has always been this kind of vibe about, hey, let us be free.
Okay.
Let us show a little bit of skin
Yes. Okay.
and so on. But now we're showing a lot more skin.
Yeah.
not that I want to see it. I don't really want to see all of that. But so one mind says, you know what? Nakedness is not a bad thing, but it should have its place. Okay? So maybe part of its place can be at Carnival. So that's fine. That's the one time in the year people get to be a little bit naked.
Okay.
Okay? So maybe it's fine. All right? On the other side,
I don't know if
should
I'm
really
impressed,
should
Sure.
really kids be seeing that? I'm not so sure about that.
You're
I
not
don't
sure?
know. I mean, um,
I didn't get that part.
kids see naked bodies.
Yeah, yeah.
Kids
of
always
course.
see naked bodies, but the concern might be what was a naked body doing.
Right.
Kids
And
kids
maybe
know about anatomy.
And is it
And
a
the
way of life?
actions.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So when I first saw that that costumes were getting more and more exposing, I thought, well, I wish they would just have an event for that, because now I don't feel so comfortable bringing my son out. Actually, my son doesn't know. Regrettably, doesn't even know what carnival is, and he's 5 years old. Eventually, I will. I will bring him
I'm
out.
sure.
But like I said, I'm in two minds. And here's a third mind. I love the costumes. I think
No,
that
they're pretty. They are pretty. Yes.
I think I love the themes and so on. So from an artistic point of view, they're pretty. Yeah. So
I want to get your take on that, but just and help me out here because maybe I'm a bit outside of the culture by asking this question, but just guide me here. So I remember the Andre Garvey, the Helen Marie and Associates, etc., etc. They stuck to a theme, right? A theme, and that theme, a storyline, and that storyline relates to Carnival and it relates to Grenada, whether it be the environment, whether it be the storytelling, the folk tales, etc., etc. But now what we're seeing themes that are beautiful, costumes are beautiful, but they are not in keeping with the
They're not
story
depicting anything.
and are not depicting,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the culture
Or anything cultural.
anything cultural. So I like to get your take on it, and also the fact that I want to get and what perplexes me is the fact that people will get healthy to play carnival, but will stay unhealthy throughout the year. It confuses me. Is that a thing that used to happen before? Or is it a new phenomenon for women to get fit just only for carnival?
It
That-
always happens.
That's a
It's
woman
always
thing.
been a
Eh?
thing. It's a woman thing.
That's
Okay,
a
okay.
woman. That's a woman thing.
Yes.
I just want to make sure before she says anything, that's a woman thing.
It's a woman thing.
Man
Okay.
does play carnival with a big belly if they have to.
Before you say anything,
Yes.
listen. My sales went down in the past few weeks
Uh-oh.
because I don't sell the most healthy food. I sell comfort food, and the ladies just this is too much carbs.
Oh no.
Too much. I'm meet you after carnival.
So everything has its advantages
And this
and its disadvantages.
Well, let me hear
Right. Now let's talk about the costumes.
Mhm.
I brought my children once to come and view the bands, and it has left that kind of impact on them that they don't even want to come outside and look at anything carnival
What?
because of what they saw from the bands crossing the stage. As you rightly said, Juice, we have options. We have options. We could play with the whole suit, we could play with the boy shots, but we don't. I'm still left in awe about why Why don't we? And it's not just slim people are coming out in them costumes.
Yeah,
We have heavy people in the costumes, them kind of revealing costumes as well.
Hey,
yeah.
hey,
The
bottom
why,
positivity
the
here. We don't
why,
want to get
the why
canceled.
have a lot. The why have a lot to do with certain conversations we've had previously.
But what you realize, right? The bands these days are highly commercialized,
Right.
right? And a lot of the bands right now, what they do is host sections, right? So Eddie might have a band. He say he's doing a band this year. Back in the days, Eddie owned all these sections. These days, when Eddie have a band, he have about 5, 6 designers from other countries, right? And so what they do, they capitalize on people's following. So this designer who is popular in Boston, if Eddie's fortunate enough to get him to be a part of his band, well, he bringing along about 500 different people, right? But here what's going on now. The people who come in from the diaspora are made up of people, or mostly people who were privy to the culture because of their parents, but they never grew up in the culture.
Right.
So their parents migrate to the States, have the children, and tell them, boy, when I was growing up in Grenada, boy, we used to do this and we used to do that, and that's carnival. And them growing up hearing about it. And then now they get exposed to Boston Carnival, which does not really have
There's no historical value in it.
historical value in it, but because people who've been removed from their home for so long wants to create the costumes, they create costumes. So people have a carnival-like celebration. So when they come to the Caribbean, remember, these are the people who come into the Caribbean who heard about carnival is a free place. And remember, America and these places are places that preach liberation. I remember one Juve morning, I saw 2 ladies walking, and I did not know that these ladies was naked
Grenada.
until they bend down. Yeah, they bend down to wine, and I realized,
So until they been long, you realize they're naked.
yeah, because they had on body paint, right? So they had the things covering the nipples and stuff, and you know what I mean. But I did not know the ladies was naked until they start to wine and bend down. You know what I mean? Born naked, and I was like, what?
You don't see what you see after.
That what was what in amazement as I
No,
took
don't ask
thing.
that question.
I was surprised, and I was actually, surprised. Like, no, not impressed.
I was disgusted.
Yeah, in a form. I was surprised, and I was also disgusted because it's first time I'm seeing it.
Hold
Like in all the run, it's
All right, hold
like
on.
in tongue.
Oh, yeah.
I never seen a
wa-
woman walk in tongue like
Naked.
I want us to bring in the bartender because I hear the bartender asking disgusted why. So you don't think that should be something that should be taken aback by?
I want to know why he is this.
I mean, even though I'm a man,
because the ladies look good
yeah, they look good
until they bend down.
until I realized that they were actually naked.
So hold on.
Okay,
So hold on.
you're thinking future wise because you're looking for a partner, right? You're looking to settle down with someone, and you're thinking, I'm trying to get a logic here.
Well,
Just
no,
tell
it's
me.
it's totally different.
Oh,
Like
oh.
because to me, it's like, okay, we know people that's come in town with skimpy stuff, right? Juve morning, and the girls cut their short pants shorter, right?
Yeah. We're never naked.
Yeah, but like I know we had children in the band
Yeah.
and all them kind of thing.
Looking.
Yeah.
Looking. Yeah.
So even though some people might listen to this conversation and say, but Jesus is a soca artist and Jesus sing this and Jesus sing that, but still I am still a father.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's still lines that I don't cross.
Yeah.
And there are still things that I will hold as value. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
You
So
have to.
so to me, even though I believe that people have a right to express themselves, as somebody said earlier on, there's a time and place.
Yeah.
You know? So even though seeing people naked is nice, in certain settings, it might be a put off.
Put off.
You know what I mean?
You know, one of my observations, and I actually went on a radio station to discuss it, was the fact that I saw young parents with newborn babies in the carnival in Juve after 12 in the night and early in the morning with heavy music. I'm talking about, like
Yeah, I can
newly
understand.
born
I can
babies.
understand that.
And I'm
So
like,
Some of them would put a tip of oil.
a tip of oil on the
yeah,
baby's
Yeah, I can
skin.
understand. I cannot understand.
so so let me just say this, right? As a carnival lover, one of I've been called a carnival baby for a lot of my life, because there was a time every year I jump in plane and going after carnival, right? But I believe there's one of the problems I have with Grenada's model of carnival, right? I think there should be a clear demarcation when it comes to adults and children when it comes to carnival, right? No, I have a problem with Carnival Tuesday, which is the day we call Parade of the Bands, where there are toddlers and underage children being in bands with adults, right? Consuming alcohol, adults consuming alcohol, and one would say, okay, they're putting them in front or whatever the case may be, right? But we are social creatures, and social creatures would absorb and do what they see. So when you see a child, for instance, holding on to a stick and winding down or lifting up a leg in the air, it's because they have seen adults do it. You understand? And I think what we call, you made reference to it earlier on, Fiola, pageant or not pageant, but kiddies carnival. What we know as kiddies carnival, I think is a product that needs to be developed and to be a more full product for children. An entire day where they get their day to masquerade on the streets, right? It may have to come to a point whereby we have to dissect the two and don't try to cram everything into having panorama, junior panorama, and junior whatever it is, and all these things into one event, and maybe give them 2 days. But the fact remains is that it should be segregated. It should be that children have their own day to partake and whatever the case may be, so they behave childlike. Because there's nobody could tell me that if you go and see, especially the people that go as far as to say, okay, I play in mass and my daughter play in mass or my son play in mass, and they look over because they go look over at mommy and daddy, and when they see mommy and daddy, they're going, come on, you want to tell me they wouldn't do likewise? Monkey see, monkey do. Well, yeah, hold on. Well, the bartender have a question. That is important.
I do understand the segregation, and I would applaud the effort. However, if you come from a household where mommy winds back, wouldn't you do that in the carnival also? Because you come from different backgrounds there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I would answer this I would answer this way. If mommy openly displays the wine back on a daily basis in a household, you can't stop that, right? But on Carnival Day, it is a day of spectacle. And I say a day of spectacle because it is the biggest stage in Carnival, biggest stage in Grenada, where they have thousands of people standing on each side of the road watching you. And nobody telling me and nobody pretending that masquerader doesn't do the most
I think
to show off, and to whether it's the summer body that they work hard for, or the costume that they spend a lot of money for, all these things. So it is the biggest stage, and likewise children will also follow suit.
I think one of the problems is that we celebrate them.
Celebrate who?
The kids. Like when like we might see a little girl and she cocking back and whining and
Yes, and we
thing,
clap for that.
and we draw
laugh.
attention
Yes.
to it,
Yes, yes.
and we say, yes, girl, yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's wrong because I mean, okay, Fiola's a dance teacher, and there might be dances that she might teach.
Yeah, but it's not erotic though.
Not,
Is
not,
it?
it's-
So hold on. But maybe
does the
we
child
should.
know?
But maybe we should get the perspective
a
of the
double-edged
dancer.
sword. It's a
Do you
double-edged
consider
sword.
that as wrong?
It is a double-edged sword, but I want to get from
Yeah.
the take from the
Yeah.
dancer. I disagree.
Okay, you know you see, with as a dancer, sometimes when people talk about limiting movement,
Yeah.
I might have a problem with that. You
Yeah.
know. However, I think there are places for certain movements, okay, which children need to be taught and so on. I don't know if I used to be whining at home all the time, but I
Yeah.
never did it outside.
Right.
You know, but that's something I don't think we can stop kids seeing that. To be
I
honest,
have a question. Though.
I don't think we can stop them seeing it.
Yeah, at all.
And when they see it, they're gonna do it, and that's part of the spectacle.
Do you think it's a
So-
natural? Do you think it's a natural reflex to music?
But we're people of rhythm, so
Yeah,
the
yeah.
answer is
Well,
yes. But
because we've seen it, but
Yeah.
it's because we have seen it.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think we're
all.
born with it.
Yeah, born with rhythm. Oh,
Hold on.
guys, we don't accept one thing. Eh?
Probably we're born with it.
We born with rhythm.
Because our mothers dance with us.
hey, all
Okay.
they said Tito did not know rhythm, so
And then,
Tito is the exception to the rule. Tito is the exception
in
to
their
the rule.
arms as well.
Yeah.
Right?
So let me ask you this, right? I would agree 100%. As black people, naturally, we have rhythm and we have it.
I'm sorry.
I know all you're laughing at. All you have Tito in all your mind right now. Don't do Tito that.
Don't do Tito that. Them a brethren.
Tito.
Tito.
Don't let them do that.
It wasn't me.
Non
Right.
Palma
Right.
Labore. They
Right.
come from the same school. I
Right.
stand up with you.
Listen to me. He that say can that. He that bring.
You had a question.
But yes. No, as I say, I would agree 100% as black people, we born with rhythm and there's some things that's in our DNA. But we also have to appreciate the fact that there are a lot of things and suggestive dances and gyrations that is sexual in nature.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And when something is sexual in nature, to me, it is out of place.
Thank you very much.
You understand?
That's the point that I'm making.
Because hold on. I want to make this point absolutely clear. Because it is okay for two consenting adults to decide that they want to. It's like if okay, so for instance, me and my wife playing mass together, and we want to dance in a way that is provocative, whatever it is. Some people may say no, that is a bit taboo because at the end of the day, children could be looking, right? But if we decide as two consenting adults to dance that way, that is one thing, right? But when you make it a spectacle, whereby it has become the norm that children can look onto that and then they in turn doing that, children should stay in children's place. You understand? And do childlike things. You understand? I don't understand why a dance that is sexual in nature, it is mean that you have is like too much knowledge in the first place. We dance the way we dance because we are experienced with sexual rhythms and sexual body language.
But
you understand?
So which
Eddie.
dance should the child do?
Eddie.
Which dance?
Which
I don't have a okay. So let
Eddie,
me put it this way.
Eddie, hold on.
I-
you know we grew up in our culture where we like to tell the young fellas, the little child, when you grow up, you got a real girl, you know. And then we like to watch them little girl whine and call, come and see she whining. Whine
I
for
don't
your
know about
auntie.
that. I don't know about that. Listen
And
to me.
tape it.
I don't.
That's
no.
dysfunctional parenting.
No.
I've seen it.
Listen to me.
I've seen it a lot.
Juice. We would invite you to one of our other conversations about
Thank you.
the true essence of gender bias and regards
So
to
parenting.
parenting and whatever the case. Because
Yes.
we've had many other conversations when it comes to parenting, right? But what you just described there is dysfunctional parenting,
Dysfunctional parenting.
toxic parenting.
Toxic parenting.
Because children should be treated like children always.
Because I always have a problem with it. Eh?
You understand?
Yeah.
There should nowhere be. I see people, and I agree with you that you see adults surrounding when they're seeing a little girl whining and whatever it is, you know. So at the end of the day, I agree with you, right? But that is not supposed to be something that should supposed to be glorified and be normalized.
No.
Right?
Thank
I
you.
just want to say that.
No, with 5 minutes left.
5
on this-
minutes, time go
Five,
fast,
yes,
but
time going,
5
and
minutes?
that's why we having spirited conversations, of course.
Wow.
Literally spirited conversations.
So we
I
need to
have a
start.
question.
So we need to started talking some solutions.
Yes, I was going to ask a
and that's the thing.
question.
We need more time to talk solutions here. But one of the
We
things
need more time to talk carnival. Carnival is a
a very broad product.
We
Yeah.
didn't even reach the music yet.
No, we ain't reached the
Yes,
music yet.
yes.
Juice, we
even
had to
reach
bring
the
it back
I
for
have
that
a
music.
question.
But yes,
No
but
problem.
When and where do we put a cap on the difference between children and adults in all of this? Who is a child in all of this? What is a child allowed to do and is appropriate in all of this? Because I am seeing now that once you graduate, it could be from primary school, it could be from secondary school. Once you graduate, you is a big child now. Parents
big
let
girl
you do
now.
this and they let you do that and they let you do that instead of waiting until you're 18, which is the age, the legal age.
Well,
You know,
listen,
once you graduate, it's like you reach.
listen.
Yeah.
You're there. You're in adulthood. You could
I-
do whatever.
I am one of the parents that believe in independence from an early age. Like I teach my son independence
Juice, I don't know what kind of cannabis you're going to try to
from
open
an early
there.
age.
Juice,
Early
I
age
don't
as
know
well.
what kind of cannabis you're trying to open there.
From early age
Independence
as
from
well.
an early age.
Yeah, okay.
Independence is different from having a responsibility at a certain age. In my
That's true.
book, you're an adult when you start to pay bills in my house. That is my take on being an
hey, but
adult.
if they,
Well,
if they go and get work all
I believe that I believe that I believe that you're an adult
No
when you start
child
living for
labor.
yourself.
No
my
child
take
labor,
on
no child labor.
independent children. You cannot use children and independence
Yeah.
in the same sentence and conveniently.
Listen, listen.
Let me hear
let me get the bartender
Yeah,
to say.
we have to have a cap somewhere
We
along that
use
line.
children conveniently. Like a child has to pay $20, and you know, where is the gap? 16, 18. What is a child?
So here my take on this, right? I believe that we are interdependent and independent and codependent as human beings.
Right.
Right? Interdependent means that we cannot do everything for ourselves. Independent means that we must be able to think for ourselves and make decisions critically, right? And codependent means learning how to work along with each other, right? There is nobody who is 100% independent. Nobody, right?
Understood.
So for me, when I say I teach my son independence, I want to make sure. I always tell him, I say, guy, the one day that me and your mother and your grandmother will not be here. I want to make sure that when we're gone, you can handle yourself.
So you want a functional child.
Right.
He needs to be functional.
child in
Independence
society.
Right?
in cooking,
Yes.
independence
Right.
in those other things.
So to take up adult responsibilities, I am there, right? But I want him to know that he has 2 hands and 2 feet and a thinking brain. So he needs to learn how to utilize them from an early age. What we as parents do, we always walking behind the child with a pack of Band-Aid. Right? So simple thing like if a child fall, he needs to learn how to get up for himself and learn how to deal with that fall. You know what I mean? That's my take on
I
independence.
think that's a different topic.
Yes.
And
we need to.
I could come back at you with
Yeah.
that, because if that same child think critically, I am 16 and I have had independence from the age of 10. I think I am able now to have a child. I am thinking critically how I would take care of my child. Where do you come in?
That is a conversation that we will have.
So is a totally
Yes, so that is listen, man.
That's a whole can of worms.
That just goes to that. What I tell you, I don't know where you're just going to open a can of worms saying, right? Because
thing is, children should do childish things.
Yes.
There's a time and place
For everything.
We don't want when you we have a lot of adults in society now, 40s, 50s, even 60s, doing childlike things because I think they never had
They didn't
a
grow up.
childish life. So they're now trying to
relive some kind of
relive some kind of life, you know. So, as I said, it's a whole different topic, and we welcome you back.
We welcome you back.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, watch now. Juice, the show named them bias, and if you like to testify, we have had some. We've had some back and forths when it comes to gender and how we see things. But all I talking to that you diving into the realm of parenting and all kind of thing, you know. But we wanted to, we
We're gonna kind of
carnival. You understand?
Yeah.
But it just goes to show how every topic, no matter even social things that we take for granted,
Right.
comes back
Yeah.
To
to structure and parenting and everything.
Yes.
It's all interconnected.
Everything
All-
deals with
yeah.
structure.
all
Everything,
inter-
everything has a base. You know?
Yeah.
So I think this is a wonderful opportunity to
wrap up.
To really to thank the audience for viewing and listening, and I'm hoping that you have your own debates in the comment section. We definitely will be back here on another Saturday, on another day, to have another
How much
controversial conversations.
we have 5 more minutes?
Yeah? No, I think we're 5 minutes up with it.
We 5 minutes up?
We're 5 minutes
So I,
up
so,
with
so, so I ain't got to give closing statements
it. Next
next time. Well, I
on
will
the next
say-
episode of
I
Gender
will-
Bias, we'll get his closing
what is
statement.
this feel like
Anyway,
You eat a piece of chicken and you didn't get to bite the bone.
yeah.
but you bring back
I-
another
I- I
conversation
I
again.
wasn't going to go with the bone part. I was going to talk. I was going to go with something more adult.
No, if my bone fall, I don't feel like if I finish eat.
It's like you're involved in intercourse and you didn't finish.
Until next time.
Hold on. Before we close, right? I know you had point out our sponsors. I wanted let's close by even just paying some homage to our sponsors. Classic Lighting Caribbean,
Dean's Mattress.
Dean's Mattress. Remember the band to play with is Extraterrestrial Monday Night Mass Band. It's the only band that given you a Monday night a umbrella in case rain fall. Right?
Yeah.
You understand? Instead of we giving you one, we get an LED umbrella. Imagine that. You understand? Exactly. We have magic traditional treats and juice. Remind me of the thing.
Chef Tender eats.
Chef
Chef
Tender
Tender.
Eats.
So you can take us out now.
All right.
My-
Well, let me just take a sip with everyone. Until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.